the financial planning. I remember the last time we talked about what financial planning is all about, but this day we want to consider um, savings for an employee or for someone who is an entrepreneur who pays himself or herself. Savings is one of the things that will actually lead to abundance for everyone. Even our parents, my mom in the village, our grandparents, they were all um, indulging in savings. And of course, that's what makes the difference for most of the people who ever made it successfully. I think it's poor minds only that consider budgeting or savings as a waste of time. It's poverty of the mind. Some people may have done this without being conscious or without even knowing. But savings is something that we should all take to. I want to give us some nuggets about it. What determines your wealth is not how much you earn, but how much you keep at the end of the day. That's what matters in your savings. So it's important that we realize that a man who spends all that he gets is actually stealing from himself, and you don't save after you have finished spending, but you spend after you have finished saving. When you're done with savings, what is left is what you will have to spend, not the other way around. Like you have finished, um, you spend or you save after spending. I think that's what happens most of the times. People save after they have spent, but it should have been that you save or you spend after you have saved. And these are the differences that people make. When money comes into your hand, the first thing to do is not to go on a spending spree. There are a good number of us, I'm sure this will hit you, that we spend money that has not even entered our coffers. The monies are spent before they arrive. Just on the hearing or on the perception that money is on its way coming, bills come like they heard it or they got a wind that you're going to, the money, there will be a windfall, and they're already coming in batches. And of course, if you are not disciplined and you're not careful, you spend the money before they enter into your hands. And that's why we have been where we are. That's why that business cannot be scaled. That's why you cannot do some things for yourself. I have a situation, or I have an experience of where someone has worked for a whole lot of time and with a very reasonable position. But after all, upon retirement, he realized that even the junior workers were doing more exploits with their little income than himself, who was earning in millions, simply because there was no savings, no financial plan, that there was no track of what he was doing. So part of what you do if you want to save is, number one, is to set your financial savings goals. How much do you want to save out of your revenue? How much are you going to be saving out of the income that you make? How much of your sales is your profit, and how much of it do you want to be saving? So the first thing to do is to set your savings goal, set your savings target. The second thing to do is, if it is possible, and I advise that this happens, make your savings automatic. Automate your savings, that as it's hitting the bank, so and so amount by this date should be moved into a certain account where you consider as your savings, and from that place you can do your other investments and all of those. So, but save it. And of course, because I'm a retirement person, I also advise you can take the opportunity in the additional voluntary contributions. For those who know about it, if you check my previous videos, I've talked about the micro pension, a window that the National Pension Commission opened through the Act for those who are self-employed, who are in their private businesses, and who would want to contribute to the pension. So search for that video, and I'm sure you will see just the video on retirement. So make it automatic. That's another way to make your savings work for you. The other step to take is to track your expenditure. Where are you spending your money? What takes the bulk of your money? Track your expenditure. I didn't realize this on that. Sometimes I had this project that I was running, and I was spending so much money, sinking money in a project that was not bringing anything, in a project that doesn't seem to be alive or that is not making any advancement. But I wasn't conscious. I know it wasn't working, but I wasn't conscious of how much of my resources that simple project has taken, until the day I sat down to do an analysis and I took a decision because I was having a track of what I was putting in that project. So until you track your expenditure, you may not be able to tell how much you have spent on a particular thing and what is it that takes bulk of your money. Is it your car maintenance? Is it your fueling? Is it your transportation? Is it utility bills in the house? Is it your family consumption? What exactly takes bulk of the money? And of course, you need to do a swap or a change, a shift if it is not rhyming with your financial or your savings goals. So, what takes bulk of the money? The other thing that you need to do beyond keeping a track is to cut down on your costs. Cut down on costs. Just like we know organizations are dropping their costs on certain things, they are dropping even the man hour, the number of times people stay in the office. Some offices are adopting virtual operations. Some are taking to reducing the the number of hours that people stay in the office working. Some close earlier so that they want to cut short on utility bills and all of the things that can come with being open and running businesses. In fact, I remember a friend who told me that these days he doesn't even put ACs in his shop and in his office. So there are some luxuries that we can do away with at this point. So can you cut down on your costs so that you will have something to save? I am talking particularly to those who are income earners and those who are small businesses that would want to save some money. Maybe by my next video, I'll be looking at corporate organizations and how they can save some costs in what they do. I want you to continue to follow us. But before then, I also want you to know that you need to set your rules. You know, some people say 50, 30, 20, 50, 20, 50, 40, whatever the rule that you're setting. But all it says is that 50% goes to investment and 20% is for you to save, and the other one is for you to, manage all other ancillaries that will be coming your way. 50 for investments, 20 for savings, and all that. For those who have their rules, but you need to define how these things go. And when you plan, maybe in your budgeting, if I doesn't talk about that, you also need to include the miscellaneous, the charity works, those who come to you, Uncle, help me. We'll have many of those at this point where people are counting and depending on you for their own survival. Even those who are reckless with their own savings will count on you. So if you don't plan, they will ruin you as well. And I don't want that to happen to you. And that's the essence of this series that we're holding on to. I'd like you to keep following so that we'll make sure we'll come out from this vicious cycle of poverty. Thank you, and I'll see you again.